A common question I get from restaurant owners is, how do I know that my culture is broken in my restaurant? And can I come back from it? Or how? So how do you identify if you have bad culture in your restaurant? How can you tell if it's just throughout the whole entire restaurant? I can explain that to you, and I can show you also how best practices to fix it, but really what we want to focus on is first finding out how bad the culture is. And I'll give you some examples. So I went to a restaurant recently, okay? I was in New York and I just flew in and I was starving. I hadn't eaten all day. I just got off the flight. I checked in, it was late. I'm like, I want to get some food. So I walked down the street, it's freezing cold, and I'm just trying to find a place to eat. And right in front of me, there's this giant restaurant, right? It's beautiful, looks brand new. I'm like, this is perfect. I'm gonna go get something to eat there. So I walk in and I realize it's like a hybrid. It's like a market and a restaurant, I think. Right in front of me, there's a cashier, right? It looked like a stand, like a host stand, but it was like, had a cashier on it for like when people are checking out of the market. And the guy's just standing there. I'm literally the only person in the building. He's looking straight. He has a little AirPod thing in his ear. I walk up and I'm like trying to find out where the restaurant is. And I asked him, I go, do you have a restaurant in here? And his first reaction to me, the first thing he says to me is, which one? I asked him, do you have a restaurant in here? And his response is, which one? And so I said, do you have two restaurants in here? And he said, yes, which one? And I said, I don't know. Where are they? Can you tell me about them? And he said, there's one over here, and he points down a hall, and he says, there's one upstairs. Okay, so I just picked one, and I went upstairs because that interaction was, to be honest with you, frustrating, and it seemed like he didn't know, A, what he was talking about, or B, that he cared. Okay, so that's interaction number one. Broken culture instantly. The person you're paying to greet guests, to interact with guests, the first impression that you're giving your guest is this gentleman right here. That's a bad start. And I get to the top, and there's a restaurant. Again, beautiful, looks like it's brand new, but there's no one in there, no guests. Now there's employees, they're scattered around. One of them sitting down on their phone, one of them sitting down eating, two of them are talking to each other, and just, I walk up, it's like I don't even exist. Okay, so now I'm starting to think they're closed. So I see a bartender and he's just working behind the bar, excuse me, and he turns around and he just stares at me. Doesn't say a word, not hi, how are you, nothing, just stares at me dead in my eyes. Are you guys open? He just nods. Okay, I look around, should I seat myself? Okay, so that's the second interaction I have. So first of all, I have all these employees completely ignore me. I walk up, not how can I help you, anything like that. I sit at the bar, throws a menu in front of me. The place is expensive. The food is expensive. It's shocking to me that this is the way that they would treat the one person that's in the building. It was absolutely mind-boggling. I wanted to just eat, I'm starving. I eat, the food was actually pretty good. And then I pay my bill, and I have to use the restroom. And I walk up to the host, and I said, where's the restroom? And he goes, oh, it's around there. Does that with his arm. And I'm like, you can't show me where the bathroom is. You can't walk me to it, point me to it. And listen, I don't need to be walked to the bathroom every single time, but the problem is I went around there. When I went around there was 3 ways to go. Again, I'm the only person in there, and they could care less to help me, care less that I was there. So you can clearly identify the culture's completely broken there. Not just someone is a bad employee or someone doesn't care, or someone's having a bad day, but the culture is completely broken because not one person took any pride or care. What they cared about was themselves. They were upset that I was interrupting their free time, right? They see me, when I came up that escalator and I see all these employees, they all look up and they all look down instantly. Don't talk to me, right? Don't let it be me. I go up to the bartender, find out later on when I'm eating my meal that he was switching out his shifts. He's leaving, the other bartender's coming on. He wasn't happy to see me because now he has to start my tab, and then he has to transfer my tab, he has to serve me. So I messed that up for him, and that's why he was not happy to see me. So the culture is clearly broken. There's no emphasis on guest experience, there's no emphasis on guests. What their emphasis is, clearly, is it's all about me, it's all about and that's it. And when you have that, you have broken culture. There's a lot of things, right? That restaurant's gonna need a lot of work. And to be honest with you, I don't know if they're gonna catch up to the culture before they close. Because again, I'm the only person in the building. And I was dead, right? I walked by 2 other restaurants on my way back to the hotel, they're full, right? They're the only ones that are empty, and they're on the freaking water. Right? Something's wrong, some red flags there. Well, how do you fix it, right? Well, first, you're gonna have to have leadership get involved. Leadership needs to be talking to these people and making sure they're doing their job right. But really where it all starts with is training, okay? The hiring process is huge. We're hiring the right people, and not people with experience, people with a good attitude, right? Then we work on training, and the training is the name of the game here. And what I like to say, indoctrinating them into hospitality, guest first. If you're talking about guest first all the time, and you're teaching them hospitality, and you're telling them that this is the way, there will be consequences if you don't, that we take it very seriously, we pride ourselves on doing it, and you have a trained trainer training them, saying this is the way, and being a shining example. I call them the anchor. The trainer always has to be the anchor, the best performing employee always. If they're there training them, then that's a good start. Now you have to have systems. The systems are there to make sure that the employee has clear-cut direction and structure on what they're supposed to do, why we do it, and then the KPIs to actually do it. And then it's a manager's job, leader's job, to lead them from underneath, grow the employee, nurture the employee. So we're constantly making sure that the employee is understanding that this is what we're all about. We're talking about it during pre-shifts. We're talking about it during the shift. We're talking about it when we're getting reviews. We're talking about it after the shift. We're always talking about it and making it very clear that we're all about the guest experience and hospitality. But I guarantee you, if the training and systems and hiring was set up like that, like what I just told you, that ideology was set up from day one, that would never happen. There's no way in hell, not with that many employees on. You might have a few bad apples here and there, but for the most part, someone would have picked up the slack right away, because that's what it's all about. If one person had just acknowledged, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, yes, you're supposed to be a hostess or whatever, sorry for whatever it is, and then started telling me about the restaurant and maybe about the food, getting me excited, having a little bit of a conversation with me, asking me if I'm, if I'm local or traveling. Those little things could have saved the interaction, right? Those little things, but nothing happened. It was all about the employees. That's all they cared about. And that's how you end up losing and literally crippling your customer retention rate. And your customer retention rate, if you're not focused on that and you take the eye off the prize, that's what's gonna happen. You're gonna lose it, and then eventually the business. So focus on, first of all, creating the guest experience, and then making sure you're hiring, setting expectations during the hiring process, train trainers training, and then we have comprehensive training. It's mapped out step by step, shift by shift, so we know exactly what they're learning. It's not random. It's not dependent on the day or how busy or who's training. It's clear-cut direction, and then systems for the structure. If you see that, if you start doing that, you're going to slowly see your customer retention rate go up, slowly see employee morale go up, and slowly see the bottom line go up as well.